problem that we have here says the mean value of land and buildings per acre from a sample of farms is 1,600, with a standard deviation of 200. It says the data set has a bell-shaped distribution. Assume the number of farms in the sample is 78. Okay, so part A says use the empirical rule to estimate the number of farms whose land and building values per acre are between 1,400 and 1,800. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to think about, guys, I'm going to think about that bell-shaped distribution, okay? So the bell-shaped distribution is going to look something like this, and we say that we have our average right here, and then, so let me kind of put a line here, and then we're going to have our standard deviations, okay? So there'll be standard deviations to the right and to the left. So when we take x bar plus 1 standard deviation, x bar plus 2 standard deviations, and x bar plus 3 standard deviations. And then here, this will be x bar minus 1 of them, this will be x bar minus 2 of them, and this will be x bar minus 3 of them, okay? So we were told in our particular problem that our mean was 1,600, okay, and our standard deviation was 200. So if I add 200 here, this is going to be 1,800, this would be 2,000, this would be 2,200, okay? And if I start subtracting, this one would be 1,400, 1,200, and 1,000. And all I'm doing is subtracting 200 from my mean or adding 200 to my mean, okay, depending on which direction I'm going. So according to our bell-shaped distribution, the little graph, and it's in, I think it's in section 2. What section? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, guys. I believe it's going to be like 2.4. It's in measures of variation. But there is a bell-shaped distribution there, and it tells me that 34% of the data lies here, and that 13.5 lies here, 13.5, and what was it? 2.35 lies over here. Okay, it's supposed to be a 35. Sorry, it's a little messy. Okay, so the question is saying, use the empirical rule to estimate the number of farms whose land and building values are between 1,400 and 1,800. So here's my 1,400, right? Here's my 1,800. So 34 and 34 is 68%. So 68% of the number of farms we had was 78. So I'm just going to use my calculator here, guys. So I'm going to grab it right here. Cancel. Okay, so 0.68, or 64, I'm sorry. No, it's 68, isn't it? Yeah, 0.68 times, what was the number of farms? I already forgot. 78. 78 is, so 53. So I would come back over here. And so for part A, if you notice, there it is, 53, right? Okay, now part B says, if 24 additional farms were sampled, about how many of these additional farms would you expect to have between 1,400 and 1,800 per acre? Okay, so 1,418, so I'm still looking at that 68%, right? So 68% of the additional 24. So again, on my calculator, I'm just going to come back here, 0.68 times 24, 16.32, and if you look right there, that's the number 16, right? So